Now, I am going to point out what I really didn't like about the knot that was being tied in this video here. So let's do some basic terms. This is the free end. This is the free end, and also it's the working end here. I grew up calling this the working end, unfortunately, so I'm going to be a little confused here. This is the standing end, okay, the standing line. All right, so that's going to make this the main pinch, and I've made a girdle around a tree, just like in his video. And it's one of my favorite channels. He does a great job describing knots, and he makes so many wonderful knots. So I'm always watching that channel. So what he does is he creates a simple loop by crossing over the standing line, and then he's going to go into the main window, and he's going to do 2 twists or 2 wraps. So he's going to wrap 1 time, 2 times. Okay? Now, the problem with this is that these bites have a tendency to roll over each other. And you're creating potential energy. You're twisting in one direction also. You don't want things moving on their own. You want everything to move as you intend it. So then what he does is he continues wrapping in the same direction. Yeah. And then on this final wrap, what he does, instead of just doing a wrap, is he makes a Q, or an overhand knot. He's going to go into the window he makes, into the working window. So again, he's wrapped twice, and then he's gone outside of the loop onto the standing end, and he goes around the standing end and into the window, into the working window. Okay, and then he doesn't say this in the video, but I think what you're supposed to do is pull up the line towards the main pinch, and that's how you're supposed to dress the knot. I don't pull too hard, or you'll screw it all up, and it won't work at all, and then it's going to slide up and down the standing line. Okay. And to break it, you find the clove. I can get it focused here. This looks like a pig's toe. And you just take the 2 toes and you just peel them apart, and it breaks real easy. Okay, because it's just a bunch of twists. Okay, now as soon as I get this undone, I'll show you how to break it. Not on purpose, which is terrible. Imagine being on a boat and your rope is not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So you go, all right, well, again, yeah. I always called this a lasso. Unfortunately, I don't have great terminology, but you make a bite, and you make a simple loop, across the rope, and then we're going to wrap it twice, once, twice. We're going into the main window 2 times. Here, we're coming out the main window 2 times, and then you should see the line is going over the top 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then you come on back out to the standing line and take your working line. You're going to make a Q. You go around, do it just the way he did it now. Go up through here. Now you're supposed to, again, pull this way to tighten it, right? But there is another way to do this. You could do it this way, right? And that dresses the knot, okay? And now you can tell already by looking at it that it's not going to slide. Because what's happened is that potential energy from wrapping when you dress it this way, you dress it from the girdle, from the main window or the main loop. You're pulling it. What's happening is it's unwinding itself. It's just unwinding, going against however you've wound it. Now, of course, it's not going to go up and down because it's got its own clove there. Okay, and we all know cloves don't move. Well, they do move, but they have a lot of friction, so they don't always move, and they don't usually move. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to where we were here, and let's show how we can pretty much always prevent that. Okay, so my standing line has been yellow, so I'll just keep that. My working line is orange, so I'll just keep that. And I'm going to make a simple loop. You could go under or over, it doesn't matter. It's real simple what we're doing. Now, instead of doing open wrapping, we're going to do closed wrapping, which just means we're going to make a Q each time. Okay, so instead of wrapping on the outside, we're going to do an inside wrap. So we're going to wrap it, and we're going to go through the working window, and that's going to make your first Q. I can't grab the darn rope. Now, does it look like a clove already? It's a loop. Now, a loop where you cross over the loop, that's a clove. Okay. Well, it's a half clove. Okay, so there's my half clove, and there's my full clove. Okay, now I've made, it's just another Q. Now, again, instead of doing an outside wrap, I'm simply doing an inside wrap, and I'm coming inside the window to make a Q. You could also say inside the Q. Okay, and this is what you have. You have a clove, right? I don't know if that's any specific kind of clove. It kind of looks like one of those nifty doodle kind of loops that you hang things from. I don't remember what that's called. But anyway, so now you're going to come out to your standing line. Now I've gone this way. I've gone under, and I come out here and go under again. Right? But the problem with going under again is, again, I'm twisting in one direction and the rope wants to go the other way. Why make the potential energy go the wrong way? Well, it's easier to untie when you do it that way. But I'm going to go in the opposite direction. You can do whatever you want. So all you're going to do is you're going to wrap it again. But instead of doing an outside wrap, you're going to do an inside wrap. Okay? It doesn't matter if you go over or under. It really doesn't. You can go this way too. And just do another wrap. And pull it tight. Now you can dress it from the girdle, but it's not going to want to do it. It's going to stop itself. And if you pull hard enough, it will roll. And when it rolls, it's going to be twisting this yellow line a little bit. But this is going to tighten independently. So that should, unless you're really trying hard to screw yourself up, that should prevent problems, even if you tighten it from the girdle real hard. Yeah. I couldn't make it roll over, but it almost rolled over. So now it's just going to be a little bit, it's going to have more of a bite to it. It's going to bite the standing line, but it's still going to slide. Okay. So, in principle, it makes it easier to untie if you take out the standing line. See, it just comes right undone that way too. Isn't that beautiful? Now, in principle, what's happening is, like, if I were to have two logs and be wrapping around this way, around this way, around this way, I'd want to tighten it by going around the center afterwards. And in principle, that's the same thing. I'm preventing things from sliding over each other, and that's the most important thing when you're trying to make a secure knot. We want a secure knot. Now let me tell you that what I prefer to do in this situation, if I had big gloves, is to use a fisher knot, a fisherman's knot. And that's because a fisherman's knot in general is just a great all-around knot that's easy to remember. I also think it's easier to make a quick release. So if I had to make that, and I hate to use one knot for everything because it just seems so simple. But sometimes simplicity is king. So I'll do the same thing. I'm going to make it, this time I got the main pinch, yeah? And I guess that would make this the main cinch, yeah? And then I'm going to make another cinch. Here's another cinch over here, okay? So it makes an S. That's how you draw an S, isn't it? For all you preschoolers, follow along. I'll make an S, yeah? That's fun. Okay, so here's my working end, okay? And then I'm just going to go around both of these two lines. So I'm going to go all the way around my working end. Now, what did we just learn? We can do outside wraps and then come back through through that hole we've made there, through the second pinch, and tighten it up. And it doesn't matter how you tighten it, it's going to slide, right? Now, this time, if you come off the working end, it won't untie itself. You're still going to have to do some work to untie it. So I think that's really the convenience of the that little Boy Scout knot that we were showing. Okay, so that will be more untying it will be more convenient with big mittens on. But if you want to do that fisherman's knot, it's the same thing in principle. You want to, if you want it to be more secure, you make inside loops. Go inside, and you could do 3 of them because you're entering the main window, right? So inside, inside, and you could do 2. That's enough. That's more than enough. There's no real reason to do 3, but if you're extremely security conscious, there's no reason not to do 3 either. And then go through it. I mean, it's not going to bind up. Yeah. And then it bites a little better when you get 3, as a matter of fact. So I guess there is a reason to do 3. And then, yeah, it slides all the way down. And if you'll forgive me, I tied these together. This is the main cinch here. So I tied these together so that it would be easier to see. So that's supposed to be back there. But it does slide. So where's the standing line? There you go. It slides. And then to untie it, all you do is you grab 2 sides of the clove and just pinch it apart. It does, though, the reason I like a fishing knot is because, you know, it has more applications. But then, you know, I don't like untying things either. So I guess we shouldn't get too excited about any one knot. You can also do either of these with a figure 8 pattern. I'm not going to get into that. But on the fishing knot, you go around twice, right? You can do open wraps here. And then when you feed it through the loop you've made here, you're just going to, instead of feeding the whole working end through, you're just going to feed a bite through. Maybe you could do that with any knot. I mean, it's not like... not rocket science, guys. Okay, and then you can just pull it loose. Yeah. But let's do it with the what do they call it? The taut line knot. That's what it's called. I called it the Boy Scout knot earlier. Okay, so we'll do an inside wrap, and we'll do another inside wrap. All right, get that nice and cloved. And then we'll come out on this standing line, and we'll go the opposite direction this time, And we will make a cinch and pull up to tighten. Not a lot to tighten here. There we go. Should slide. Fantastic. Ooh, yeah, see, it's got all that potential spinning energy, man. Now, of course, any child could come and yank on this damn thing. And, my knot's gone. I just got a bungling mess here. What a horrible mess. Knot City. Knot City.